So you want to run for president. That's a big job and a big undertaking. Do you have what it takes? Hi, I'm Chris Steyerwalt. I'm the digital politics editor for the Fox News Channel and your guide for the exciting and challenging effort to become the chief executive of the United States, to have George Washington's job. George Washington, our first president and the only one elected unanimously, laid out what it is to be president of the United States, and his wishes were reflected in the Constitution that lays out his duties. We make the president nearly a king in his powers, commander-in-chief of the military, who can use the military at his discretion to protect the homeland, even without Congress's approval. He has broad powers, but they are limited by a couple of things. Number one, limited by Congress's willingness to authorize things and spend money, limited by the courts and their willingness to deem constitutional his actions, and also by you, by voters, by a term of only 4 years. So what does the Constitution say about who can become president? Well, that was something else that was a nod to the people and the ideals of the American Revolution. Anybody who is a natural-born United States citizen who is age 35 or older is eligible to run. Doesn't matter who your parents are, doesn't matter how much money you have, you are qualified. Now, being president and getting to be president are two very different things. And the founders, the framers in the Constitution laid out what it would take to get there. And it's not popular votes. It's not how many people you can get to vote for you across the country. It's how many states you can win. We have something called the Electoral College. And no, that's not a bunch of people with political science degrees. That is the electors from each state. So let's take Florida, for example. Florida has 29 electors. Whoever gets the popular vote in Florida, and those of you who remember the 2000 election remember how close this was, gets all 29 electoral college votes from the Sunshine State. And you need 270 electoral votes to win. So you have to win not popular votes, but you have to win states. So that affects the strategy and the thinking as you go forward. What's the point of the Electoral College? Well, in part, it was so there would be indirect election of the president to temper the urges of the public, but in time that's fallen away. And instead, what we've ended up with is that the electors are what we call bound. They are required, whoever wins the popular vote in the state carries forward. But the other purpose of the Electoral College, which is to give voice and authority to small states rather than just having big states run up the numbers, is definitely part of the discussion. To get to those 270 Electoral College votes, you can't just do it with New York and California. You couldn't spend all of your time doing that. Now, if this were a popular vote contest, you know what would happen? Yeah, you do. Everybody would spend all of their time in the biggest cities, and if you lived in a city smaller than, say, the top 20, you would probably be neglected, and the interests of the presidents would most often align with the interests of big cities rather than smaller communities and smaller states. So that's how you do that, right? You have to just get those 270 Electoral College votes. But between here and there, between here and the White House, is a huge distance, a lot of tough choices, and hopefully a lot of fun. Let's get going.